Welcome to this video. Are you ready for them? Awakening, enlightenment, ascension. Can you even be ready for them? This and also my personal major awakening story that I today the first time reveal ever will be at the topic of this video. So it's a well invested 20-30 minutes when you are interested in awakening, enlightenment and ascension, and whether you had also some of them already or when you are in line next to have something, if this is something with a higher or lower probability. So I start this video with my own story, and then as I told, there will be a bit talk about awakening, enlightenment, when you had them, what you can do to readjust, to stabilize in your life, and yeah, if you can do anything to trigger something like an awakening for you. So my major awakening, to start that, I really have to start before, because it's very important to understand a little bit before. For me, it took a long time to think about making a video about the subject. I wanted to do it a lot of times already, and then I thought I'm not ready to make it as good as it needs to be, so people have the feeling that this is something that they can relate to and something that they also are able to get deeper insights about awakening, because I needed for myself a lot of readjustment and also a settling phase, and I did a lot of 4 or 5 years now discovery of my inner self, really deep work, and that's why today I feel ready to do it. And we have to know the before stage, and I call it the unsatisfaction phase. Unsatisfaction, we all know it, we all are unsatisfied at some point in our life, and that happened for me a lot in my life. It started when I was very young, with 5, 6, where I had big injuries with my knees. I had a rupture and couldn't move good, couldn't do sports for several years. I had actually 4 ruptures in my life, knee ruptures in my life, that were very severe. I had to have operation. I couldn't do sports. I had a lot of turbulences. From that came depressions. I felt really bad. I didn't know what to do, and it ended when I was 17, 18, in a kind of the feeling of if I should even continue to be here. I really had thoughts of going away from here. And so I'm very happy that I didn't, and I can highly recommend, if you ever know someone or you are even yourself someone that has thoughts like that, all of that is also a higher plan that you have to work out here. And I see that higher plan now more and more, and I'm very happy that I'm still here and I am able to talk about that now. So from my 20s on to the mid of my 20s, I had kind of a stabilizing phase where I did an apprenticeship, I did just a bit working and started to do a little bit business. However, I never was involved in any spiritual activities. I was never involved too much in personal development. I grew up in a very small village of like 800-900 people, and we just ordinary normal people that work, that do the sports, that play football and everything else, like normal what you're doing. You work, you build your house, and that's it. So I had no idea what options there could be, or what kind of other world is out there. So I started with a kind of very small worldview, and then it's the second phase, which is the actual awakening. When I started doing business, I get more into personal development. I read books like Think and Grow Rich. I also started to read books about the subconscious mind. However, I didn't get anything about when I read that books, because it was just theory, and I was thinking, yeah, subconscious, conscious, but where to apply this in my life? I have no idea where to apply this in my life. And then I found 3.5, 4 years ago a teacher that developed for over 40 years a method which is named CYP, Change Your Pattern, or Change Your DNA. And I went to the offline seminars, and there I had the awakening. So let's go right into this experience. So this seminar was all about changing your limiting beliefs, your negative beliefs, find them out and change them into something where you are able to have a higher quality of life. So that was my purpose why I attended the seminar, and I was thinking, okay, that's a completely new experience. I had no spiritual background, nothing, no religious background, nothing at all. And then I went to the seminar, and I noticed very quickly that something is different. There was a different kind of energy in the room, in the seminar. It was exciting. I was really excited the first time in my life that much. And in day 5 of the seminar, it was a 7-8 day seminar, and day 5 I had this major breakthrough, which was related to my relationship with my mother. So I found in a very specific process this limiting belief that I told myself back when I was very, very young. And when I discovered that, and it was really insane, because I was really in, first of all, tears came down. This normally never happens, especially when there are other people around. No, it's very rarely happens that I cry out of joy in a way, because it was a joyful process to finding that. And so the first thing when I found out about this, about me and my mother, which is very, I cannot talk about it more in details, it is very private. However, it was something that changed my complete life. And what happened in that process is that I begin, that tears come down, and what also happened that I get a really state of the goosebumps. What you can resonate, goosebumps is kind of like what you have in normal day, and when you support your sports team and they score a goal or win a goal, or there's something amazing going on, then you have the goosebumps. So this is the first thing that happened, a kind of stage like goosebumps. However, it was different. It was through my whole body, from the feet to my hair. It was all of my cells kind of vibrated. At the same time, it was not just goosebumps, it was also very warm, a very feeling of peace and home and love, and also very hot, like a release of something that was not there before. And also what happened, that for 20-30 minutes after that process, no thoughts came into my system, which I never experienced before. And that was the awakening, the huge awakening, that there is something beyond just thinking, first of all. That was one part I realized back then. And I was really thinking, oh my God, what is going on? I have no idea. I come from a very small village, and I have a very small worldview, and now this happens to me. What's going on? So, yeah, and after that experience, for sure there came a lot of turbulences also, and doubts came up. There came a lot of other, you can see it like a champagne bottle when you open it and then it pops up. So this is what happened. And however, like a lot of the limiting beliefs were still there, I did not clarify. So I had to do a lot of inner work for 2 or 3 or 5 years. And that is the phase, the third phase, the readjustment phase. So for me, there's always a unsatisfaction phase in awakening. Then there is the awakening phase, which is very spontaneous, to come to the point if you are in line or not. No idea if you expect to awaken, you probably will not awaken at all. So it's just spontaneously happen. You have no idea when it's happening in a way. However, there is some intuition, like you can see from my story, where you see, okay, it's going into a direction where I have a bigger worldview. I have a worldview that totally shifts into something that I was thinking is impossible before. And so it's really insane, and I had to work a lot the last 3-4 years after that experience to let it settle down, to reflect it, to see a lot of other people. What do they have for experiences reading books? I had to get a context what actually has happened back then, and it took me about 3-4 years now where I'm able to say yes, it was definitely a major awakening for me back then, and it really took a long time for me. So it's important when, let's say, you have had an awakening, to pause, to take your time, to be patient with yourself, to definitely check out, inside yourself, check out what other people experienced, get a context, what has happened, and definitely do not hide, do not go away, or do not reject the experience. You have to accept it and allow it into your system, and at the same time you have to let go of a lot of other limiting beliefs that are still waiting to catch you and tell you, wait a second, it might be a false awakening, it might be that it's just not true, look what the most people tell, this cannot have happened. And there's a lot of beliefs that are able to caught you again, or caught up to you again, and convince you of the opposite. And this also happened to me a lot, so it's so important to be honest with yourself, be also playful and gentle when you had a awakening, and that is really important. So I cannot tell you if you are in line next to have an awakening. I also cannot tell you if the awakening will be similar to mine, because I heard a lot of different kind of stories of awakenings, from smaller to bigger awakenings, and that is really important. And for me, what is awakening, enlightenment, and ascension in a context? Awakening is just that the complete worldview is changing, and you have like this crazy aha of a change of your complete belief systems. Enlightenment is also, it's a lightening up of your energy, which goes together with awakening, I consider to say. That means my experience, what happened then, where I had this lava inside, this crazy energy, and for 20-30 minutes like a crazy state of rapture, you could say, of ecstasy. This is kind of a lightening up of consciousness, of awareness, or conscious awareness that is led into your system, that opens up your chakras, that open up different kind of systems, on a cellular and even a molecular level. That's the word. And even on an atomic level. And that's really something that goes together, the awakening and the enlightenment. So there is no one awakening or one enlightenment. And ascension is just, it's just something different, probably. In my point of view, for me, it's something where something happens that you move from a human body, for example. We move from a human body to a collective human vehicle, to something like, for example, there's the dragonfly metaphor or the story I really love. The dragonfly is a being that is for 2 years in the water all the time, and just a predator underwater, and at some point in his life it's deciding to go on a leave, and then the sun it just also happens spontaneously. And the sun with the light on the water, on the creature, on the dragonfly, totally, completely gets this creature that was before only underwater, that only did to know like the underwater world, gets to be the dragonfly that today flies around. I get a picture also here of both stages, and yeah, it's really amazing. And that is kind of Ascension for me, to really go from one total body stage to another one. So yeah, I just check. I have a very short list here. I check if I have missed anything out. Yeah, what to do when you had an awakening. What I love is you have to really pause. You have to act also on the new, what has happened. You have to discover. You have to be playful, as I told, and you have to reflect it. And then you have to readjust. You have to pause again. It's like a circle. And you have to always be, in a way, committed to the process and to trust yourself, to trust your heart, because in an awakening and enlightenment, your heart is vastly opening. And so keep it open as much as possible and get the heart more and more over the mind that is always trying to interfere. And that is something very important that I have learned within my 3-4 years now, to not let the mind decide all of the things, to let the heart make the decisions, and to also make decisions that are uncomfortable. And they are also important for us, because sometimes they have to be made, and they lead us to another stage of development that we are only ready when we have the courage, and that is very important. So that's about my experience about awakening. Very important now, I put some links down in the comments, also to my blog for sure, where I also talk more about, in general, Beyonduality. What is beyond our duality? What is the stage in the heart in general? And also vocation and soul purpose, how to awaken that and find that. And also important, in the comments, write, also give some links and write what experiences you have heard of or what you had. And if what I told you resonates with you or not, that is really cool. And share the experience. I did not actually find out so many reports or experiences or stories about awakenings. So I'm always interested in people that talk about them in books, in videos, like myself now. And so definitely put them below. Share also the video with friends, with people that maybe had like an awakening, that where this video can have a good hand, for that you are not crazy, that you are not nuts, that everything is normal. It's just a normal stage of our human life. And yeah, thumbs up the video when you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. There will be a lot more cool videos coming up. And then I wish you a great day, you Dominic, and then see you in other videos and in other times. So bye bye, you Dominic, and thank you for checking and watching this video. Bye bye.